Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we are making our way to the Windy City to do an architectural boat tour. And also we're going to check out the Magnificent Mile. So stay tuned for that.
Oh my!
So we did make it into Chicago. Traffic was a little bad, but not extremely bad.
It was worse outside the city than inside the city.
Right. So now we're going to try to make our way down to the Riverwalk, where we catch our boat. Maybe grab some meat before we get on. We got about an hour and a half to kill, so let's go see what we can find. Here we have the Chicago Tribune. So, love, what do you think of Chicago so far?
You know, we've been here all of about 20 minutes and I'm in awe. The architecture is just gorgeous. I'm so glad we have that architectural tour coming up. I'm very excited for that now.
Yes.
It is a beautiful city.
Yes, very much. Definitely impressed with Chicago.
Lou Malnati's has been crafting deep dish pizza for over 50 years and currently operates in 4 states. It is listed as one of the best places for deep dish pizzas in Chicago.
So what did you get there, hon?
Pepperoni and black olives. I got the thin crust because I don't like the deep dish.
And I went with a Chicago deep dish.
Which I found pretty tasty. It definitely hit the spot.
To the end of the road, I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me, I belong
for the architectural boat tour.
Oh my!
Here we go.
All right, thank you, Captain Chuck. All right, folks, are you excited about the 90-minute Chicago River Architecture Tour? All right.
Yeah.
My name is Thomas. I'm a local Chicagoan, a teacher here in the great city of Chicago. I love showing this city off during the summertime. Do we have any local Chicagoans on board? Oh, okay, we got quite a few. You guys came from a long way. Right? Is this anyone's first time to Chicago? Wow, let's give it up for our first timers. Very good. Now the oldest building on the Chicago River today is right here on our left. This is Fulton House. It was built in 1892 by the architect Frank Abbott as a cold storage warehouse. They actually used to store butter and eggs and other dairy products in here. At one time there were no windows on the building. Well, in 1988 the architect Harry Weiss converted the building into luxury condominiums, adding on the windows. Notice these cool townhomes coming up here on our left. They're known as the Chicago River Cottages. They were built in 1988 by the architect Harry Weiss. Now Harry Weiss has a love affair with nautical themes. You know, 30 years ago, Chicagoans turned their back on the river. See, at one time our river was really polluted. Nobody wanted to look at it, let alone live along the Chicago River. Well, thanks to the Friends of the Chicago River over the last 25 years, we've really done a good job cleaning it up. Now living along the river is prime real estate. These are the Riverbank Lofts. They were built in 1916 by the architects Nimmons and Fellow as a printing press warehouse. They actually used to print magazines and newspapers in this building. It's a great example of what we call adaptive reuse. In 1992, they converted the building into soft loft residential. The park you see off here on our right is the Aaron Montgomery Ward Park. It's a children's park and dog park. Also, you'll see these two steel and glass framed residential buildings here on our, they almost look like they're not finished. Airy on the Park and Kingsbury on the Park by the French architect Lucien Lagrange. Notice the chevrons going up the side of the building. It actually braces the building from the wind. But if you look off in the distance, you'll see a larger building with blue glass and 4 reinforced concrete cores. That's the Montgomery. It was built in 1971 as the headquarters for the Montgomery Ward Catalog Company. Well, when the catalog company shuttered their doors in the early 2000s, that building was converted into luxury condominiums. The architect of the building, Minoru Yamasaki, he's the same architect who built the World Trade Centers in New York City. This mural you see off here on the Riverwalk, that's by a Chicago artist named Jeannie Sykes. It's called Aurora. Now folks, off here on our right, this Art Deco building, this is One River View, built in 1936 by William McCaughey as the original headquarters for the Montgomery Ward Catalog Company until they built the Montgomery in 1971. It's another great example of adaptive reuse. They took an older building and converted it into luxury condominiums. They actually punched in this Riverwalk here as well. Do you know at one time the largest reinforced concrete building in the world was right here on our right? This is the Domain. It was built in 1909 as the warehouses for the Montgomery Ward Cattle Company. It's where the orders were fulfilled. Okay folks, take a look at this building coming up past the bridge here on our right with the narrow base. That's 150 North Riverside. It was built in 2017 by Gesh Partners and Associates. Nobody ever thought anything could be built there. There were train tracks and a park. Well, the base of the building, folks, is only 40 feet wide. It's about the width of our boat. They have 16 10-ton caissons that go 100 feet down into bedrock. That supports the building at the base. Look at this beautiful building here, folks, on our right. This is 2 North Riverside. It was built in 1929 by Halliburton Root. This was actually the home of the Chicago Daily newspaper. It was the first office building built over active railroad lines, and it was the first office building with an outdoor plaza. Folks, look behind you to the right. You see that large glass building? That's Accenture Tower, designed by Helmut Jahn, the architect. It's in the shape of an old-fashioned cash register. That red box, that's where you're at on the river. It's a giant "You Are Here" sign, so if you're lost, just look up and now you know where you're at. is coming up right here on our right. This is Chicago's own central post office, built in 1931 by Graham Anderson, Probst and White. If you look at the front of the post office, there's a beautiful Art Deco lobby. You guys can check that out. There's also a food court there. Now, if you remember The Dark Knight, the Batman movie, the opening Joker bank heist took place in the front lobby of that building. And off here on our left is a new residential development called South Bank by Perkins and Will. Now for the elephant in the room, that tall black building, folks. That's the tallest building here in the city. It will remain that way unless the building commission changes it. But that is Willis Tower, spelled S-E-A-R-S, Tower. Anyways, that was Sears Roebuck. You know, folks, Sears Roebuck and Company, in 1968, they wanted to consolidate all their offices into one space. So all 350,000 employees into one building. So the building began construction in 1968. It was completed in 1973 by the architectural firm of Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. Now the building rises 1,451 feet, 110 floors, swaying 18 inches in every direction at the top. Now it's what we call bundled tubular construction. They took 9 separate boxes and bundled them together for wind resistance. Only 2 of the boxes go all the way up to the 110th floor. Now on the 103rd floor of the building is the sky deck, the observatory. If you look up on the west side, you'll see 5 glass boxes sticking out. That's an attraction called the Ledge. You can actually walk out into those glass boxes and look down 102 floors to the street below. You got a good straight up look. Wave at those people in those glass boxes. Will be in someone's Instagram or Facebook photo for sure. You see this building with the serrated corners? That's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now, it was built in 1987 by the architects Fujikawa and Johnson. This is the Civic Opera Building of Chicago. It was built in 1929 by Graham Anderson, Probst and White. Classic French Renaissance style of architecture on the outside. However, if you guys get a chance, you gotta check out the front lobby of the building. There's a stunning Art Deco lobby. Now you see this flat wall right here? Just beyond that wall sits a 3,000-seat opera theater and a 10-story opera stage. You can actually park a semi-truck on the opera stage. That's how big it is. They do give tours of the opera house. I highly recommend it. Now look at this curved glass building here on the right. That's 333 West Wacker Drive, the Nuveen building. Now it was built in 1983 by Cone, Pedersen, and Fox.